Yes everyone, thanks for tuning into another video. Pleasure as always, hope you're having a good start to the year. Before I get into the meat of the video, as I always say, if you've got any thoughts or comments, please leave down below in the comment section. I'm just going to move this a little bit. And if you get any value from the video, please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So in today's video, I just wanted to explore the question, is depression down to a chemical imbalance in your brain or something else, such as environmental factors? Now, recently I've really been questioning the chemical imbalance hypothesis. There's been a study that's come out, and it's kind of put to bed this theory that there's loads of chemical imbalances going on in people's brains, and that's what's causing depression. I'll put a link in the description below. And another reason that I've been sort of struggling with this theory is that the amount of people that are on medication for depression is so high, and I just don't believe that all these people have a chemical imbalance. Now, maybe 1 in every 100 of people actually taking antidepressants or SSRIs have got a chemical imbalance, but I think the percentage is very low. And what my new theory is that it's down to environmental factors. Now there's so many layers to this, so I'm going to try and be really succinct because I don't want the video to be super long. But one theory I've had for a little while is that one of the reasons where depression is rising so rapidly in society is because we're living in an environment and a habitat that our minds haven't evolved to deal with yet. So what do I mean by that? For example, if you take the amount of blue light, so that's light that comes off electronic devices such as your phone, tablets, laptops, you get the picture. If you compare to how much blue light we're ingesting, I guess you would say, compared to even 30 years ago, there's just no comparison. And I just don't believe that our minds have evolved to deal with it yet. And it's been proven that for a blue light inhibits melatonin production, which is the hormone that helps you go to sleep, among many other things. So that's like a really simple example. And I think really I should have looked this up beforehand, but I know for a fact there's been lots of studies that suggest that the birth of the smartphone has caused a big problem in regards to mental health, and I think we all know this. It's kind of obvious. So this is one of the theories that I've really been thinking about a lot, and I'm reading this book at the moment. I really recommend it. It's called, sorry, I've messed up the front cover, The Comfort Crisis. I'm going to do a book review on it once I've finished, but I'd just like to read this little bit from it because I think this sort of demonstrates what I'm talking about. So this is just in relation to noise and the amount of noise that is in our environment. Because when you think about it, if you go back, say, maybe 1500 years ago, the amount of noise that you listen to was probably just nothing compared to now. I mean, if you especially if you live in a city, if you close your eyes and listen, there's probably so many noises going through your ears. And things like this detrimental to our mental health? Well, what I'm about to read to you may suggest so. The world's #1 killer, heart disease, isn't just a consequence of too much couch and carbs. The World Health Organization found that the constant stream of decibels we live in is, quite literally, taking years off our lives. Too much noise was responsible for nearly 2,000 heart attack deaths in Europe. This is because stress increases can lead to heart disease. This is the good bit. Other research shows anti-anxiety medication use rises a relative 28% for every 10 decibel increase a neighborhood experiences, and people who live near loud roads are 25% more likely to be depressed. Very, very interesting. So I guess what I'm saying is that if you change your environment and you do lots of activities, which I've talked about before, such as cold exposure, make sure you're exercising properly, make sure your diet is somewhat healthy. Make sure you're pushing comfort zones. Make sure you're expanding your brain. So that means reading or doing some sort of educational course, so you give yourself some sort of purpose. If you do all these things, is that going to solve your depression? I believe so. And I'm not saying that you won't have bad days, but I think maybe that's just part of life. And it's just something to consider, I think. And I just wanted to share that because the more I think about this and the more I kind of sit with my thoughts on depression and mental health, the more I just sort of feel that it's no coincidence that so many people are taking medication for mental health issues and it's just skyrocketing. It's because we're living in a world that we're not designed to live in. Really, we should be spending loads of time outside. I read something recently and it's like, if you go back 50 years, the average person spent like 8 hours outside, and now it's like 33 minutes. That's a big impact. There's some really good stuff by a podcaster called Andrew Huberman, who's got lots of stuff about going outside when you wake up, and that sort of sets your hormones off on a right level. And I just feel that if you do take all of these steps, or you use all of these tools, I'm not saying that your depression is just going to disappear. But maybe it will become manageable. And maybe if you're feeling depressed, you just need to accept you're going to have down days. Now, trust me, I've been there. When it feels like it's never going to go. When it feels like you're in a hole so deep and you're never going to be able to climb out of it. And the world is dark and the walls are crumbling around you and you feel like you're suffocating. So I've been there. So I don't want people to think I'm belittling the way that they feel. But what I think people need to think about is it really down to a chemical imbalance? Are you brainwashing yourself, telling yourself this is just how you are? Or is it the environmental factors that you're surrounding yourself in? Because my belief is that's it. Anyway, I hope that gave you some food for thought. Like I said, the book that I just talked about was called The Comfort Crisis. I'd really recommend it. Some really interesting stuff. I'm going to do a book review on it once I've finished, and I also want to take some other stuff out of here because it just essentially living in nature is proven to be better for you. Very interesting. So I hope that was of some interest. Anyway, wherever you are, I hope you're having a fantastic day or a fantastic evening. I'm recording this on a Saturday night, so I hope your weekend is going splendidly, and I'll see you in the next video. As always, take care. Peace.